Today's show is sponsored by JumpCloud, introducing the JumpCloud Directory Platform, the directory reimagined for the modern world. JumpCloud changes the way IT administrators manage their organizations by providing a comprehensive and flexible cloud directory platform. From one pane of glass, manage user identities and resource access, secure Mac, Windows, and Linux devices, and get a full view of your environment. Try JumpCloud for free today at jumpcloud.com and help your organization move to a modern, secure hybrid work model.
Cloudcast Media presents from the massive studios in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is the Cloudcast with Aaron Delp and Brian Gracely, bringing you the best of cloud computing from around the world.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome back to the Cloudcast. We are coming to you live from the massive Cloudcast studios here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hope everybody is doing well. This is another Sunday perspective, actually one of the last two Sunday perspectives of the year. We're kind of recording these right towards the end of the year. I probably don't even expect some of you to listen to some of these because I'm hoping that you're getting a chance to get away from work. I'm seeing a lot of folks sending out their end of year, going on vacation, going on PTO, out of office messages, whether it's out on Twitter or via email or wherever it might be. So, we're sending these out, because you may be needing some time to break from family and events. Maybe you're going for a long car ride to go somewhere or a flight or somewhere. But anyways, kind of want to talk about today, we've had some outages recently. I know I talked about sort of outages on one of the last shows in the context of single cloud, single multi-region, single region, multi-cloud, and kind of how to think about those things. But I kind of want to talk about, dealing with technology failures in a little different context. And that is, how do we just deal with them in terms of, how frustrated we get, how upset we get, what sort of plan B we might have. And I don't mean plan B in terms of, hey, can we fail over something? It's just, from a personal perspective, what do we do when we have those sort of failures? And so I kind of want to dig into that right after the break.
Today's show is sponsored by Datadog. With infrastructure monitoring, distributed tracing, and logs, Datadog provides end-to-end visibility into the health and performance of modern applications. Datadog's distributed tracing and APM generates detailed flame graphs for real requests, enabling you to visualize how requests propagate through your distributed infrastructure. See which services or calls are generating errors or contributing to overall latency, and dive deeper into your production code with an always-on code profiler to pinpoint the root cause. Start monitoring your applications with a free trial, and Datadog will send you a free t-shirt. Visit datadog.com/APM-Cloudcast. That's datadog.com/APM-Cloudcast.
And we're back. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, I kind of want to dive a little bit into, how do we deal with some of these outages? And the context of this sort of came up for me actually yesterday morning. Yeah, so Saturday morning. So for me personally, this time of year, I watch a lot of sports. It's sort of one of my ways to get away from things. I know not everybody in the tech community is big into sports, but bear with me, this show won't be about sports. And essentially what it boiled down to was the way that I watch sports. The carrier that I use, YouTube TV, decided that they were in the middle of a negotiation, dispute, if you will, whatever, with a lot of the people that provide sports, so ESPN and others. And they were, gonna use this time of year when a lot of people watch sports, maybe more so than they do normally, to kind of use it as a negotiation tactic. And essentially what they did was, as of midnight on Friday night, they canceled the ability for you to get any of the sports channels that come through the YouTube TV package. And there was a part of me while I heard all this was going on, and I said, well, this happens all the time. It's a negotiation tactic. And then I woke up Saturday morning and I saw a bunch of tweets from people that, cover sports for a living. They're in the sports media business and so forth. And they said, wow, they really did it. They cut off sports. And, at midnight, they sort of held up their end of the bargain, the negotiating bargain. And what was interesting to me was, there's a part of me that went, oh, well, that's going to be frustrating, right? That's going to be inconvenient because now, in theory, I've got to, if I really want to watch the games, I've got to go find an alternative streaming provider. I've got to sign up for the service. I've got to figure out, am I going to buy the service? Am I just going to, am I going to kind of buy the get this free 7-day trial and let these guys negotiate it out? And, I kind of went through that whole process and, oh, what am I going to have to do to set up things in my TV? And it made me realize, that's the same sort of thing we go to when there's an outage, a cloud outage, for example, that affects us at work, right? So, we talked a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week or so ago, there was an AWS outage in US East. I think it was on December 10th. And then, unfortunately, there was another minor outage in US West, or, some sort of service disruption in US West. I think it was around December 15th. I put both those in the show notes. And I don't call this out again to sort of pile on AWS. I call this out to say, look, we have these sort of outages all the time, right? We lose, we have a technical failure or whatever in our life. And, I think we're so wired to, kind of believe in computers that computers are, our lives become somewhat dependent upon them, whether it's for day-to-day things we do at work, whether it's, how we communicate with people, whether it's, how we communicate with our technology, our business partners, our technology partners, our families, our spouses, our friends, and so forth. And, I think what this sports thing sort of did for me, the AWS outage or a Slack outage or a GitHub outage or whatever, I think what we've realized is a couple things. One, while they happen, and we know they happen, right? Even though we sort of put these high hopes we have in technology all the time, right? Some new thing is going to make things better. We believe that these services are just going to work. I mean, the reality is they're computers and they're run by people or automation, whatever, and they tend to break. And they're going to break at the most unexpected times, right? That's the one thing we really haven't figured out is, when are they going to break, right? We don't really have, it's a little bit like we don't even have a mechanism like the weather where we're able to sort of see where trends are coming, and for 4 or 5 days out, we can predict, well, it'll probably rain with 60% accuracy or 80% accuracy, or, this major storm is coming and there's a pretty good chance this hurricane is going to hit, this part of the coast or this, region. We don't really have that at all in the technology world, right? I mean, people can argue, well, you could look at test coverages or, whatever it is, but, as a consumer of the technology, whether you're a business or as an end user, we really don't have any visibility to that. And what's, I guess, frustrating at times is when the failures do happen, you really, you hope it doesn't happen when it's really an important time for you. You're giving a presentation, you need the map to work for your car to get where you want to go, or you're trying to make a bank transfer, whatever it might be. But the other side of it is we've seen a lot of these things happen over the years. They haven't necessarily dissipated in terms of the number of outages we have, but I think what has happened, it's been positive, is the outages don't seem to last as long, right? The AWS one, did seem to last for most of a business day. But again, we used to see outages that would last a week, multiple days. In some terrible cases, they would last more than that. But nowadays they last a few hours, right? I mean, the AWS one, which was, deemed to be sort of massive because, US East is so massive and so many things depend on it, was about 6 to 8 hours long-ish. And so, I think the thing that we sort of have to start thinking about, or at least my recommendation or my suggestion, again, take it for what it's worth, is, we kind of need to have a plan B. And what worked out for me on this Saturday, yesterday, was I just, instead of spending a whole lot of time worrying about it right away, I said, I'm just going to go get away from it, right? Because for all I know, they will work out this negotiation in a day or two. I won't really miss anything. And quite honestly, even if I missed a few games, it doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm playing in them. It's not like my wellness or my livelihood depends upon them. It's just something I like. But it's the same thing with Slack going down, or GitHub going down, or AWS going down, or some other cloud service that you depend on going down. It's likely going to be for a few hours. And it's a great opportunity. Like in my case, it would happen to be on a Saturday, so it wasn't a work day. But give me a chance to get outside. I went for a walk. I took the dogs for a walk. I went and raked a whole bunch of leaves because we're at that time of the year when the leaves have fallen and they're piling up. And it really got me thinking, it's useful to have that sort of plan B, if you will, or plan C that says, what do I do if there's an outage? And what do I do not in the context of, jumping on Twitter and being angry and talking about which service I'm going to switch over to and how I'm mad at YouTube TV and, the whole system, I don't trust it. It's just, that sort of anxiety kind of builds upon anxiety. And I think about the last couple of years and people in tech who have been, working longer hours than normal because there is no end to the workday anymore. They're on their computer all the time, but not just on their computer. They're having to essentially perform in front of their computer because they're on Zoom meetings or WebExes or Teams or whatever they're on. And, and every report that's out there is the stress levels are higher, the anxiety levels are higher. We're seeing people change jobs, maybe because of whatever that situation is. And I kind of feel like it's useful to have a plan B because we're going to have these outages. And just being able to get away is a good thing, right? You probably should be doing it on a regular basis anyways. But, get out, go for a walk, read a book, right? Have some books and magazines around. I know there's, for most people that I know in the tech industry, there's usually a stack of books that are sitting around somewhere that are a third read, half read, 10 pages read. You're almost done, but you never just find that time. They're great opportunities when we have technology failures or just build it into your day to make that time. And I think it's, I've been trying to use these outages recently as an excuse to do those things more frequently, right? I try and find a way every day to get out and walk the dog and get some fresh air and be outside. And I know that's not possible for everybody. Not everybody lives in a place where, walking's easy or bike riding's easy or whatever. But I think, for most people, they can find it. We don't build it in. And I think these outages have sort of reminded me that, it is important to have that time and not time where you go, oh, okay, well, the computer thing is down, so I should jump on and listen to a podcast, or I should jump on a different site. And those guys from Cloudcast told me I should try and train up or, do some learning, jump on a Cloud Guru or CBT Nuggets or the free training now from Google or Amazon or whatever. Like, get away from the computer. Just get away from it, right? Use the outage as sort of karma's way of telling you, hey, get away from computers, period. And get out, do some exercise, go for a walk, read a book, get your mind away from stuff. And, I think, we'll find that the computers tend to come back after a while. Sometimes it's 3 hours, 4 hours, 1 hour, 8 hours, whatever. But, the anxiety that we build up around them doesn't tend to be super healthy. And so, again, this is sort of an end of year perspective. It's less about the technology, but, we're going to have outages. Hopefully, for most of you, you're not on the other end of having to do the fire drill of getting the PagerDuty message or whatever, that it's your outage. And if it is, obviously you take care of it. It's your job. But, for the rest of us, it's a great opportunity to get away from it a little bit. And I think, more than anything at this point in time, we probably do need to get away from it a little bit and to build those sort of things in. So whether you use the outage as an excuse to build a new habit of, getting up, going for a walk, reading a book, calling a friend, calling your mom, whatever it might be, kind of build it in. It's a good excuse. It's a good excuse to start a new habit. We know it's something that's going to happen all the time. Getting frustrated over it doesn't really do us any good. And it's something that I know for myself, these last couple of weeks, especially now that people are sort of winding down and, getting out and raking leaves instead of being angry that my sports channel isn't going to work, was good, sort of a good break, good therapy, if you will. And so, my suggestion to folks, and again, take it for what it's worth, take it with a grain of salt, use these outages as an advantage. Use them as an opportunity to create a new habit, to create a new break for yourself. And, as we get into 2022, build those things in, build in that time, whether it's on a daily basis or, a couple of times a week or whatever you can make time for. And don't get so upset about the outages, right? They're going to happen. Complaining about them doesn't do anybody any good. Throwing your 2 cents on Twitter out there doesn't do anybody any good. And, get out there and do something that's going to be positive for you. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. We are getting, again, towards the end of the year, second to last Sunday perspective of the year. Hope everybody's having a good holiday season. Hope you're getting a chance to spend some time with family and friends, and whether you're traveling or staying at home, hopefully you're staying safe. And we look forward to talking to you next week and then talking to you in the new year, 2022. So we will talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening to The Cloudcast. Please visit thecloudcast.net to find more shows, show notes, videos, and everything social media.